Welcome Taurus to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 11th of March for the Sun, the Ascendant, or if you choose, the Moon too. On the screen now you can see your chart wheel, and we need to focus on your ruler Venus because right at the start of this week she moves into a new home, the sign of Pisces, where she loves to be. Now through to the 4th of March this can be terrific for your social interactions. Now, of course, we did have a new moon in that area last week, a new moon which linked to Uranus in your sign. So perhaps the combination of these two influences is suggesting a possibility of some fresh people developing, or fresh relationships developing in your situation, which is really exciting. The other thing I like about Venus in the 11th house is it gives us a reminder to celebrate the things we have in common in our relationships, not just the things that make us different. But even though there was that new moon late last week, there was also a very turbulent right angle between Uranus in your sign and also Mars in the part of your situation to do with your interface with the wider world. Did you have some kind of clash at the end of last week? Or is there something that's happened over the weekend that's left you on edge? Maybe it is to do with a professional matter. If you feel that in some way your desire to manifest your talents and assert yourself is being resisted because your employer or a partner or family members are not quite seeing that you want to be a little bit more radical in your approach, perhaps you yourself are resisting trying a more radical approach, but that tension between Mars and Uranus is still prevalent over the first few days of this week. However, it is true that the moon moves quickly at the start of this week into your 12th house, where it joins up with Mercury, which moved into this area late last week. Mercury's forging a very positive angle to Pluto, and one of the great attributes of this combination is that Mercury in the 12th house can give us the opportunity to think about the psychological dimension in a more accepting way. Now, Mercury in Aries is a very hot, fiery energy, so it can be a little bit impatient. But with having the combination, the healing combination of the North Node and Chiron so close together, and they're going to be in touch with one another for the whole of March, I think there is a chance for you to think about some maybe tender issues, tender strands that have not necessarily received quite as much nurture as they could. Now, we all have stuff, that may be more recent or it may be more historic. And I think Mercury moving into this area could stir some of that up a little bit. But the angle with Pluto suggests that there may be somebody that you know who is able to give you some pointers or guidance, but in a very non-judgmental way. This person may be someone who knows you well or doesn't know you at all. But if there has been that turbulence over the weekend, do be open to some outside inputs, because I think that can be very useful to you. Now, as this week goes on, the Sun starts to advance towards Neptune. In a symbolic sense, this is really interesting because it's almost like the Sun is dying at this part of its cycle of the year. And so therefore, being near Neptune, which can dissipate and just basically dissolve energy. So there could be for us all collectively a lessening of drive as the week draws to a close. But for you, I think it can make you much more conscious of the friends you can hang out with who are very caring and sensitive and supportive. And if there is anyone harsh or brittle around you, you may want to steer it a little bit clear. The quarter moon, which occurs on Sunday for you, is the 11th and 2nd square. So if there are friends, for example, or associates you've got that have different value systems to you, they could be revealed. But of course, Neptune can distort. It's not necessarily great for seeing things in a very clear, factual way. So if there is something big you're thinking around a group involvement or around your long-term planning, which the 11th house is about, vital on that quarter moon and with Neptune in the mix, not to rush to any judgments. And that's where all that 12th house energy with Mercury, the node, and Chiron can be very helpful to you at the moment, as long as you're not hung up about looking at some vulnerabilities. If you are someone who finds the shadow side of life a little bit challenging, try to just reassure yourself it's part of all of us. The human state is not designed to be completely perfect and functional in an absolute way all the time. We're going to have ups and downs, and the more you can be philosophical and at peace with that, the better things will be. But I feel around your social situation, around your contacts to others, there's definitely a window of opportunity, but it needs to be with the right people and for the right reasons. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand more serious astrology, check out my special chart offer. You can get your forecast and your character analysis for 30% off. Searing insights, totally unique to you. Please see the link beneath this video for more.